Hey guys, my dad, he called himself an unrepentant Englishman. I'll take a stab at explaining that another day. But continuing that tradition, I'm going to call myself an unrepentant dreamer. I'm John Ogden. The first 10 years of my life were as good as it gets. Large family, 7 kids. We grew up in the British countryside in a ramshackle 500-year-old house with a leaky roof and no electricity. The nearest neighbor was half a mile away through the woods. It was exploration heaven. I had no idea that the local schools were not so hot. Most likely my focus and homework accomplishments were the problem. But at 11 years old, I found myself standing on the road with my brother, looking at the back of my parents' car as it drove away. They just dropped us at a boarding school. We would not see home for 10 weeks until the school term finished. In my mind, I was scared, I was lonely, I was abandoned. In theirs, they were just looking for a better education for their kids. 5 years later, the lack of academic focus continuing, girls and soccer are distracting. My parents moved me for 2 years to an all-boys school to take my university entrance A-level exams. Big mistake. I flunked out of there. Next, a very short encounter with the community college. Didn't light any fires. My only excuse, it was the 70s, and unlike Bill Clinton, we inhaled. A couple of odd job 2 years later with a broken heart, my dad, he sat me down. He explained, girls are looking for someone who's going places, who knows what they want out of life. So with my self-esteem and confidence floundering as usual, I decided to go looking for my brother. He had left 2 years earlier on a ship with 3 thoroughbred horses heading to New Zealand. I steamed out of Liverpool in the north of England on an 11,000-ton merchant marine ship with 26 cows and 2 bulls. For the free ride, I had to feed them, I had to muck them out, I had to keep them alive. It was a 6-week adventure, crossing the Atlantic. We stopped at Curacao in the Caribbean. We navigated the Panama Canal and steamed across the Pacific Ocean. One magical misty day, with the sea calm as glass, we saw sea life to behold that even the 40-year veteran captain, he'd only experienced twice in his lifetime. Whales, sharks, dolphins, giant turtles, flying fish. They played around the boat like it was a magnet. 5 years of world travel. It did something to repair my self-esteem, because my brother and I worked hard between adventures. We even returned home for 2 years, and with a grant, we rebuilt and extended our parents' farm buildings. It's not enough though. A painful, tearful goodbye was experienced with our dad as we flew out of Heathrow back to Australia. For the lure of sunsets, magical beaches, with light playing on eucalyptus trees like nowhere else in the world. This time we started a renovation business in Perth, Western Australia. We knuckled down on a couple of good contracts. 6 months slipped away. Our Melbourne East Coast friends, they were calling. Hey, where the heck are you? We thought you came back to see us. So in a classic, irresponsible, yet profoundly moving experience, we walked away from a $50,000 job and headed across the Nullarbor Desert towards Melbourne for the sake of friendship and love. On the journey, we both had an epiphany of sorts. For the first time ever, the wild adventure and call of nature, which had been our guru for a long time, she was not ringing the same bell. In my heart I knew from then on the answer to life lay in human touch, life relationships. We met up with our Melbourne East Coast friends. We were flying high on the buzz of walking away from money for the sake of friendship and love. We even continued the renovation business with their contacts. Time passed. Internal dilemmas continued. The call for something greater, it dripped incessantly on the window of our minds. We returned home again, this time by the good old USA. The plan was to hike the Pacific Crest Trail on the West Coast, and maybe we'll become enlightened. Little did we know of a spiritual tsunami that was waiting to grab us. Within a week of arriving in the States, we were ensnared by a religious movement that somehow introduced God, who we knew intimately from nature, but not so much from the perspective of religious terminology. The void was filled. Purpose, meaning, vision for helping others, it all cascaded down, changed the direction of our lives for the next 40 years. Relax. That is so not the story I have to tell, unless you want to hear it. What I have to say defies even the conclusion of many, that all the words have been said already. There is no new truth. My conclusion is, in the context of love and maturity, which is spiritual growth, mankind is still in the dark ages. I'll go out on my ledge and claim that together we can irrefutably prove we're not even halfway up the mountainside. It will be a working climb, paradigm shifting, yet beautifully simple and rewarding. The dichotomy of our relationships as men and women, it will be revealed. The immaturity being flaunted by all factions of society. Explain. I wrote a book. It's called The Game. It covers these topics. That we're here for many reasons, obviously. Growing our talents and abilities, family. But fundamentally, we're here to grow our capacity to love, to climb the ropes of maturity. There you go, that's an eye-opener for today. I know, you suffered 2020 like every one of us. You know, you had to have food on the table, you had to have shelter. You know, if you weren't getting it from the bailout, you had to get it from your friends and family, your church, your community. I went on unemployment for the first time in 40 years last year. Bus business collapsed. Coach tour business collapsed. Restaurants collapsed. But anyway, you have time to think a little. You have time to think a little. Have a great day. Stay safe. Keep moving. I use this word in my book, motating. You know, keep moving forward. We're here to grow in our capacity to love. And it's not easy. Have a great day.